Hi, I'm Ron Nutter, and welcome to another edition of Tech Bites with Ron Nutter. This time I'm going to show you how to build your very own voice assistant for your smart home. And that starts now. No, I wasn't kidding. No, you weren't hearing things. Yes, it is actually possible. And let me tell you how it's going to happen. First of all, you're going to use something like a Raspberry Pi. Now, this is the Model 3B Plus, I believe it is. It's basically it's the latest and greatest, although I'm sure there's another one already in the works. The nice thing is this gets you exposure to the MyCroft open source voice assistant today. Now, they do have a Mark I platform out. You can buy it. But they've got another one coming. It's called the Mark II, and it should be out sometime in Q1 of 2019. But in the meantime, you can kind of get to kick the tires with this. Now, you got to add a few parts to it, but basically here's what you've got to do. You will get the Blue Snowball Ice microphone. Yes, there are some that you can get smaller, but this is on the tested list that the folks at MyCroft know is going to work. Then you're going to need some sort of speaker. And this is also one. This is the Logitech Z50, available on Amazon for about, it's less than $20. And it's an amplified speaker because when you're coming out of the 3.5 millimeter hole here, there's not a lot of amplifier here. So you got to have something to boost it up with. Now, if you've never dealt with a Raspberry Pi before, really you couldn't make this any easier. It will use a microSD card. Now, your laptop's probably not going to have a way to handle that one, but most of them will come with an adapter that allows you, you're not trying to do it in reverse like I am, and this should fit in a normal SD slot. Now, using something called Etcher, and all this is in the show notes, you'll get a program called Etcher, whether you've got a Mac or Windows machine. You'll download, it's about a 2.2 gig file that you'll get, and it's going to be a zip file. And trust me, leave it as a zip file. There's a reason for that. You use Etcher, you'll burn it. You're not burning, but that term comes from when there were CDs and DVDs that you could create in your own laptop or desktop, and you're actually burning the media to record the information. Well, hence the name carrying over for those of you who wanted a perfectly useless bit of trivia. So once you do that, and it takes about, we'll say 10-15 minutes roughly to download the image. And it's going to be a couple minutes. It's not a real big file to get Etcher. And then you will basically walk through the menu structure. And let's see, we can shift over here and didn't want to do that. Let's shift back over here and go to app. Okay, we'll just go through the process here. Let's see here. Etcher.io, I believe, should get us there. Yeah. Now, that's the app you're going to use. So basically what you see there is what you'll do. You'll download the image, you'll run Etcher, you'll select the image, you'll select the drive, and it should be fairly apparent because they say to use an 8 gig micro SD card. I got a 16, and this is part of the package deal that I got off of Amazon. And like I said, all the affiliate links are all there. I do get a small commission if you buy that one. I didn't want to start doing the setup today because in case you wanted to follow me, I wanted you to be able to have the parts right there with you. So you'll download the image onto here, plug the micro SD in this little slot right here. Now, something you'll need to do just once is you'll need to connect this to an HDMI display, and you probably got more than one of those around the house. And you'll need to have just a keyboard. Don't need a mouse, just a keyboard. And with the package kit that I got, it came with a Raspberry Pi power supply. So you want at least a 2.5 amp supply. You don't want to skimp on the power while this is setting up. So once you do that, then it's just a matter of putting the card in, hooking up the monitor and keyboard, hooking up the hooking up the HDMI monitor, and let it run its course. It's going to take a few minutes to go through your initial setup, and unlike previous Raspberry Pi setups, it doesn't have to resize the card, and just literally follow the prompts. If you're in doubt, take the default. Now, the default volume for the Logitech was 7. I did try raising it, lowering it, and to me, 9 probably is going to be better, although most of the time this will be kind of laying on its side to where it'll be pointing directly at me. From a security standpoint, this is a very ideal solution. Here's why. With Google Assistant and Alexa, they're telegraphing everything you say back to their respective systems. It's supposedly for learning and making it better, but that's where all the information is going. With this, any commands you issue stay on the device unless it's a skill that you've added, such as like getting the weather report, talking to some of your smart home gear. Then that information's got to be sent out, but that's just the skill sending out what it needs. Now, I've spent the better part of a day on this one, and I've already got it talking to my LifeX bulbs. Tried getting it to another brand of bulbs, and it works fine for a couple of passes, and then it stops. So I've got to figure out if it's a problem with that skill, but there's a little more troubleshooting involved. Now, the beauty of this, with this being open source, you're not going to be locked into one particular ecosystem. So as long as somebody has written the skill to talk to, say, TP-Link, then you can add all sorts of different devices. Now, that's where you're going to have to be careful on your naming, and hopefully the drivers, or skills rather, will be supporting context so that you can have the same name residing in different rooms. So but this is pretty much in beta, and I've been talking with the folks at MyCroft, and this is something this is a kind of I won't say a geeky project, but it's something you're going to have to kind of get your hands in under the hood. Their reference platform, the Mark II, should be out, like I said, sometime early Q1 2019. That's more of kind of a plug and play situation, but this will at least give you an idea of what you're looking at. Now, do not try to do this on anything less than a Raspberry Pi 3. And that's because the processor in the earlier versions, if the software even loads, is going to run sluggish, if it will run at all. Now, I've noticed some delays, and I'm on Google Fiber, so it shouldn't really be related to the internet connection. But again, you're hitting this Raspberry Pi pretty heavy. Now, there is a way you can kind of see what's going on if you do terminal emulation into this. You're using something that supports Secure Shell, whether it's TerraTerm. There's several ones out there that will do SSH. Putty, that's the one I couldn't think of. There are ones out there that you can SSH into this device, and I give you the command in the show notes that the device will speak its IP address, so you don't have to go hunting into your router and trying to identify the device. So you can actually watch what's going on. So if you just want to get under the hood a little bit and see more of what's there, this is an ideal way to do it. Like I said, I've got 2 different sets of bulbs working. I've got some other devices I'm going to be trying. Again, I want to reinforce this is beta, but it's only got room to go from here. The voice obviously can use some improvement, but again, they're working with what's on here. Now, if you get into more of a full-blown reference platform, which is what the Mark II is going to be when it comes out, and the Mark I's there now, but the Mark II is the next iteration. And to their credit, there was a few things they weren't happy with on the Mark II prototypes, so they've delayed the release of those becoming available. So they want to do this thing's class project, and it's a company right here in Kansas City. So they're moving very carefully, and they want to do it the right way. So this is kind of what you're looking at, folks, and I'll be doing some more videos in the coming weeks because this has got potential, and that's all I'm going to say. Thank you for everybody who's been watching the podcast or watching the video or listening to the podcast. If you are just now going in through seeing some of this. You can also listen to it as an Alexa, not an Alexa skill, but it's a flash briefing. I'll get it out right here for a moment. So you have that available as well. I'm on pretty much all the major distribution platforms. Information that we're going over in this podcast, this is the copy, this is the cover from volume 1 of the book. I'm already working on volume 2 now, and it'll be out probably early next year. There's some more information I want to get put in place, but the volume 2 is going to build upon what volume 1 did, and there is so much going on that there's something in there for everybody, and there's going to be some kitchen smart home tech in there. There's going to be an expansion of Android Auto in this book that wasn't possible when I released the first book. So there's a lot of potential out there. I'm even going to put in some weather station stuff, and I'm working with that when I'm not doing the videos. So that should kind of give you an idea of where things are going. If you've got any questions, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer what I can for you. And then as we start moving forward with this, I've already got about 4 or 5 videos planned right now, and that number is probably going to increase. And then once the folks at MyCroft get a little closer to a release date, then I'm going to have one of their folks join me, may even go on site to do this, so we can actually be in their offices, so you can kind of get a sense for what's going on. So thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. If you know somebody who's interested in doing smart home work, please share this with them. Make sure you click on the notifications button to hear a little more, not hear a little more, but be able to keep up with new releases as they come out. And the same thing you can also do it with the Amazon Flash Briefing. So thank you for your time, and we'll see you again soon.